Hey Flosstube, this is Veronica with Night Stitch, and I'm here with another video. It's snowing on and off today, so I thought I would just do a video today because I know tomorrow I'm going to have to shovel all day, and I have a few things to show, so I thought I would do that, and I've been wanting to do Jessie Marie's end of the year tag, so I think I'm going to try to do that today. There's a lot of questions, but I think I can do it. It's only 2:44 in the afternoon, so okay. So apparently I've had a case of startitis in 2018 because I've had 3 new starts already, and it's only the 11th of January. I was apparently bored or something, and I have to go get the other new start because I left it in the bin. Okay, I'm back. I got this using my Game of Thrones project bag that I got from Maggie's Minders. And on January 5th, I started a new start. It's the Dimensions kit and Live Life in the Moment. And I'm using the fabric from the kit, but I dyed it. So this is 14 count Ada, but it's probably shrunk, so it's probably more like 16 count. And this is how far I got on it. Using the Frosted Pumpkin needle minder, and the M&M is from Needle Attractions. And I ice dyed this fabric with some tie-dye stuff I got from Hobby Lobby. And the part that I'm working on is the end right here. So when I first did this, I really wanted to start it, and then I forgot I was doing a dimensions kit, so this color, the lighter blue, called for 2 strands of each color because it's a combined color. So, but of course, what did I do? I did 1 strand of each color, and then I had to frog it, and then I had to figure out how to do it correctly, and so now it's right, but it's interesting stitching with 4 strands. It didn't go too badly. It actually went fine but it's hard to keep the ends like lined up together, because like one would get shorter than the other, and like it wasn't too bad, but that was the only frustration that I sort of had. But after apparently 4 days of doing this, I got bored and I had to do another new start because I have startitis and I can't not start things. So I started this Mini Vanity by Hade. And I love this pattern for a long time, and it was on my wish list, and I bought it and at some point last year. I think it might have been like the Black Friday sale that Hade had. And I finally got it. It's super pretty. And I finally got the floss for it because I had been putting that off because of the weather and whatever. So, but I finally went out on a good day and got it. So here it is. I'm working on, I started in the middle, and so I've just been working on the column that the middle part is on, and this is a needle minder I made myself, and this is another M&M from Needle Attraction. And I really like that pattern. Of course, though, Clouds Factory Sal came out the next day on the 10th. And so, of course, I had to start that because I was like, it's here. I'm so excited. So, Clouds Factory's Legendary Creatures. I don't have a picture because, as we all know, it's one of those, it's a surprise type of thing. So, but I didn't want to start or take my hate out of the Q-snap, so I decided to just use the hoop. And here's my start on that. And the dragon is the Game of Thrones dragon from Needle Attraction. And started in the middle, of course, as usual. And I have like 4 different colors on there now. So I've been doing a strand of thread on here, and then when I finish it, I've been switching back to my Haid because I love it. And I can't put it down. So anyway, oh, this fabric is from Ship's Manor, and it's Abracadabra 32 count with Ghana. Okay. Those are the things that I worked on. I got some haul. It's just the week dye works for the Clouds Factory. There's moss, blue bonnet, Turkish red, and crisp bonbon. And I actually need aqua too, but 123 Stitch had it on back order, so I'm getting that shipped out. They said like the 10th, so maybe yesterday, so I'll be getting that in a few days. Let's see, what else have I been doing? I got some floss from my sister-in-law because her mother passed away a few years ago, and her mother was a embroidery needle worker, so she had an epic floss stash of DMC and a bunch of other different flosses. And my sister-in-law, she was like, do you want the floss, because I don't cross stitch, so I know you do, and I want the floss to go to somebody who will use it. So I got a crap ton of in here, and she had like all different colors from all. There's like that, and then this, and she, like, yeah, you get the point. But anyway, her mother was a smoker, so she was a smoker her whole life. So the floss kind of picked up a little bit of the smoky smell from her house. And then my sister-in-law kept it at her house for like 2 years, so it hasn't seen the air in a very long time, and so it's been in plastic and it's been smoke filled. So like when I open the Ziploc bag, you get the whiff of like cigarette smoke that's in the floss, but I figured out a way to clean it and get the smell out, and it's actually pretty easy. I used OxyClean, and then I know some people were a little bit afraid of it being too harsh on their floss, but the OxyClean I got was good. There was no color running or anything. There was no color loss. There was nothing of that sort. But I soaked it in the OxyClean for 15 minutes, and then I put it on hangers, and and then I twisted it, did the twisty thing, and then I wrote down the color, and then punched holes in these cardstock stuff, and then put it in Ziploc bags that were new Ziploc bags. And then I put it in my fabric bin thing. So I have that. I might do a video showing how I clean the floss in case anybody wants to know what I did to get rid of the smoke smell, other than me just telling you. Okay, I think I'll do Jessie Marie's tag here really quick before it gets too late. So number 1 is, what is your favorite whip from 2017? And I'm gonna say my favorite whip was Patrick Bateman, because I really like all the detail and all the colors that I got to buy for this, and all the things that I learned doing this. And my least favorite whip was probably the Wizard of Oz, because it was a gift and I was stitching it for someone else and not myself. Number 2 is, what is your favorite finish and least favorite finish? And I don't know that I can answer that, because, and this isn't to be mean or whatever, but everything that I finished last year I also FFO'd, so I technically don't have any finishes to answer that with. So I'm just gonna move on to number 3, which is, what was your favorite FFO? And I think I'm gonna say this one, my coffee light board. That was a kit from Design Works, and it's my favorite because I tried a different way of finishing other than framing. This is a canvas that I got from Michaels, and I just wrapped the fabric around it and laced the back, and then this is scrapbook paper, and then I hung the little hook on it. So that's my favorite finish. No, my least favorite finish was probably Wizard of Oz, because I was rushing really hard to FFO that. And I got it to work, so in the end it was great, but I had to cram it in. I framed it myself, so it was a little bit difficult, and I was rushing, and so that didn't make it easier. So okay, so favorite new start of 2017. Maybe I don't know. I like Patrick Bateman, I'll say that. I started that. That was my very, very, very first project when I got back into cross stitch. My least favorite new start, maybe Sarcasm by Peacock and Fig, and that's just because that was my first time stitching 2/2, and it was hard to get the I start in the middle, so I always put a small, the first stitch in the middle, and it was hard to figure out how to count 2/2 in the middle and then not mess up the whole thing because I didn't put it in the right spot or count 2/2 correctly. So that was difficult, but I learned. But at the time, that was probably my least favorite new start. My favorite tool. I really like my label maker, because when I do bobbins. I was trying to write with Sharpies and then it wasn't working quite well, so I just decided to get a label maker and do that instead, and that's worked really well. My least favorite tool, probably the seam ripper, because I don't like frogging, but sometimes I have to, and it's a good tool. Like, I like the seam ripper, but I don't like when I have to get it out because it means I messed up and I have to frog. Favorite technique? Probably 2/2. I really like stitching 2/2. It's just fun. I don't know. There's something about it. Oh, but favorite technique has to be loop start though. Because I figured out loop start this 2017. Like before when I cross stitched, I didn't know how to do, I never did loop start, and so yeah, I'm changing my answer, loop start. Least favorite technique? I don't do any of the things I don't like. Maybe pin stitch, because I've never used it because I don't think I would like it, so. Oh, and gridding. I don't grid, and I don't really have any intention to grid, so that's probably my least favorite technique. If that is a technique, I don't know. Favorite material is hand-dyed fabric? Yeah, hand-dyed fabric. It's pretty cool. Least favorite material. I've never used it, but I don't particularly think I would enjoy linen just because I don't like the idea of the slubs, and I think that it's probably really psychological because I don't think they're as bad as I'm making them out to be, but yeah. Favorite pattern release of 2016? Guess I don't know what's been released. I mean, I do, but favorite. Or, well, 2017. Obviously, I'm doing this for 2017. Duh. I don't know. Okay, whatever. Instead of sitting here blankly, I'm just going to not answer that. That's cool. Oh man, how many whips did I have at the start of 2017? At the start, probably one, because I just bought Patrick Bateman, and I did that for. And I'm answering these with May 2017 as my starting point, so this has only been this is a 6-month review actually, but 5-6 months, yeah. How many whips did I have at the end of the year? I had 4. At the end of the year, I had 4. How many starts did I have during the year? Oh, I started a lot of stuff. Let's see, I started Coffee, Lightboard, I started Ocean, obviously I started Patrick Bateman, so that's 3, I started Egyptian Queen, that's 4, I started Sarcasm, which is 5, I started Wizard of Oz, which is 6, I started, might have been in, no, I started the Frosted Pumpkin, so 7. So I had 7 starts, and I had 3 finishes, which is the next question. FFOs, I had 3. UFOs, I had none. Unless you count the wedding one that I was just gonna not do ever again. UFOs permanent is that wedding one, so I guess 1. Full coverage pages complete, and Let's see. First and last. The first start of 2017 was the Patrick Bateman. I keep repeating that, but the last start I did was the Frosted Pumpkin Christmas Secret Sleigh thing. My first finish of 2017 was my ocean. Yeah. My last finish of 2017 was the Wizard of Oz. Let's see, regrets is the next section. Purchase that I regret. Nothing? I put a lot of thought into what I purchased, so I don't just like buy things because they're there. So maybe I don't regret anything because do I regret starting anything? I don't know. For some reason, sarcasm comes into my head, but I'm not sure why. I mean, I like the pattern, I like the fabric it's on, I like the floss that I use, but we'll go with that because I don't know. Do I regret stopping anything? Not really. I didn't really stop, like, UFO anything that I didn't already want UFOs, so. Do I regret not participating in something? Maybe Stitch Mania, because I started stitching in May, but then I discovered everything like a week or two after I had started cross stitching, but I had no stash, so I couldn't participate in Stitch Mania, so that was sad. Okay, new to you is the next section. Tool. New tool. Needle minder. Yeah. New technique or stitch. Loop start was new to me. I haven't done any new. Yeah, I've just done full cross, back stitch, and half stitch, so I don't know if any of those were new to me because I have cross stitch before, so I didn't learn any new stitches in 2017. New designer, oh, like everyone. Mirabilia, Heaven and Earth, Joan Elliott, even though I don't have any Joan Elliott pieces right now. Fabric, Fiberlicious. Yeah, I like that company a lot. Thread, Weeks Dye Works. Vendor / shop. Heaven and Earth, I guess. Everything on Etsy. Yeah. Terminology, ort. I didn't know what that meant, and it was interesting because ort is actually a word that means remnants of something. So it's not only a word, but it's also an acronym. So I think that's pretty funny that the acronym means what the word is. So that's cool. New Flosstube channels. Everyone. Let's see. I started watching Gem Stitch, was my very first Flosstube, and then I followed that with Becky's Land, and then I followed that with Jessie Marie Does Stuff. Then Kate Queen of Starts, Katie Stash Queen, Emily C Eclectic Possessions, and Stitcherista. Okay, a mix of questions. What did you learn this year? I learned that, oh dang, that's the answer to number 39. Huh, what did I learn? I guess I learned that I don't FFO things the same way every time. I might repeat myself because I did frame Wizard of Oz the traditional way, but I don't FFO things the same way. What did you teach someone this year? I made that video about how I start my projects. I'm sure somebody learned something from that. If nobody's told me, but like there was one comment that said this is one of the best like videos for beginners. So I guess whoever that person was, maybe I taught them something. Did you become real life friends with any Stitchers you only knew via social media previously? I still kind of only know people via social media. I've emailed Jessie Marie because I was emailing her regarding her storyteller collection business. Like that's the most personal I think that I've gotten with a Stitcher, so probably her. I guess I could count her. Are you happy with what you accomplished this year? I would say so. I learned a bunch of stuff and I discovered all sorts of random things I didn't know existed, and yeah, I am happy with that. Okay, similarly, what were your goals for 2017? Just to stitch, just to get back into it, because I had done it before, but then I kind of just like put it away or didn't do it or whatever for whatever reason. And yeah, so my goal is just to keep on trucking, I guess. Oh, and then my goal was also to finish Wizard of Oz for my sister-in-law because I wanted to give her that. How do they measure up to what you accomplished? I'd say I did pretty good, and considering I had to rush really hard to finish the thing, but I finished it for her, so I got it done. Has your stitching style or organization changed during the year? Yeah. It's only been 6 or 7 months, but it's changed a lot. The the Patrick Bateman one is my learning piece because it was full coverage and I had threads going everywhere and I didn't do anything very consistently, and so I figured out that the consistency is actually a good thing. It's not meant to be like strict or whatever. So now when I do things, I've figured out how to do them more efficiently so that it's less chaotic for me. And organization, I really went hard on the Excel files because as I got more floss, I realized I should probably keep track of that so I don't buy the same thing over again or spend 4 hours trying to find said item. Yeah. Okay, did you fall victim to FOMO? Fear of missing out. Were there any projects that you would pass on starting if you were given the chance to go back in time and do all over? I don't think so. I liked everything I did. Yeah, I think I'm good. I don't generally tend to buy something because everyone else is doing it or feel like I need to stitch the same project as somebody else. So I think I don't really. I might sneeze. I'm sorry. Oh. Took an allergy pill today. It's working. It just, I have a tickle in my nose. Maybe it's Flosstube itchy nose. I don't know. Okay. Sorry. Let's see. Did you participate in any cell? I did. I participated in Frosted Pumpkin's Secret Sleigh Society. It was a small 2-part cell, which I think is good for my first one, so I didn't be completely overwhelmed or like freak out or anything. If so, which one was your favorite? It was that one because That was the only one, and it's adorable. So, what did you learn about yourself through your stitching this year? This is the one that I was almost answered 31 with. I learned that I have a short attention span, and I've always known this, but to apply it to stitching, I actually cannot work on one project at a time. I have noticed that the longest length of time that I will work on a pattern is about 4 or 5 days. After that, I just don't want to do it anymore, and it's not that I don't like it, it's just that I need to put it away because I'm sick of looking at it. So, but then I don't pick it up again for like 3 or 4 weeks, and so I don't think that's good. So I need to stay away from doing one project at a time because I get burned out way too fast. And it's not because I don't like stitching, because I'll stitch something else like immediately after, but it's just that I cannot, like, it's not really a lack of focus. It's just I need variety, I think is what it is. So and then I recently discovered the other day when I did the mini vanity and the clouds factory that I was alternating. So I would do a strand on the Hade and finish the strand, or finish the color I was doing and like park it or something. But anyway, like come to a stopping point on the project, and then I would switch projects and do the same thing on the other one, and then switch back and forth. And that actually worked really, really well because I was having so much fun on both projects. And I discovered that out of laziness because I was working on the Hade and the Clouds Factory one came out, and I wanted to start both, but I did not want to take the Hade out of my Q-snap. So that's when I was like, well, I'll just put the Clouds Factory in a hoop and I'll just switch back and forth. And okay, so I need to credit Kate Queen of Starts for helping me figure this out indirectly, because I participated in her whip-a-thon, and it was that whole like work on as many whips as you can within a time frame or whatever. And so I did 3 of them. I was able to get to 3 of them, and I spent an hour on them. And I just really enjoyed having different projects to work on. So thanks, Kate, indirectly, for helping me figure out that I can do multiple whips in a day, and I actually prefer that. Okay, what was your favorite event that you participated in this year? I did do one event that was a 1-day sal with Stitch Mania, which was color a day, and it was the Ruby Regal, and I actually worked on this for that, and I did the red down the side. That was pretty fun because I was able to share pictures in the little thing and interact with people it was fun. It was one of my first times interacting with other stitchers. So. Okay, were there any 2016 stitching fads that you didn't jump on the bandwagon for, but you're still considering? Or 2017, sorry. This is messing me up a lot because I have her questions from her original tag, but she did it in 2016, so. But anyway, keep in mind, anytime I say 2016, I actually mean 2017, so, you know. Stitching fads, I'm not sure if what I have in mind is a fad. I want to start a Mirabilia. I don't think it's a fad, though. That's just a designer. I don't know. I want to start a Mirabilia. If I answer that question wrong, I apologize. Okay, so this is the 2018 questions. So what project are you most looking forward to starting? I think I'm going to say the Pocahontas and the Doctor Who black and white in the TARDIS because I really, really like those two patterns and I am so excited to start them. And what project are you most looking forward to finishing? Patrick Bateman, I guess. Since I have the most done on that one, and that's my oldest whip, we'll say that one. Do you intend to be more determined or laid back in your stitching in the coming year? Probably more determined, because I want to start all the things. I have a bunch of plans for Winter Olympics and Stitch Mania, and I'll keep saying that, sorry, but it's true. So I am determined to do all of that. Let's see. What event are you most looking forward to participating in? Stitch Mania, because I'm excited to do a new start every day. That will be fun. And I'm looking forward to seeing how much I can get done in that day. Like on each new start for the day, you know. What are your Stitchy resolutions for 2018? I just want to stitch every day. That's all. Will you be participating in any sales? Yes, I will. Once I get the Pocahontas thing figured out, I was going to use her as for the Princess Cell too. So Princess Cell, Winter Olympics, and Stitch Mania are kind of what and the Clouds Factory that I already started. Are there any materials, stitches, techniques you'd like to try in the new year? I haven't tried Hand Dye Fabrics by Stephanie yet. I have an order that I placed with her on Black Friday, and I'm just waiting for that to come in. Stitches, I have one of the prompts for one of the stitch along. I think it's Winter Olympics has like specialty stitch day or something. So I think the pattern I have is like a road stitch or something. So I'm gonna try that. Techniques, probably not. I kind of like what I've figured out, which is starting with the loop start, and I don't actually run my stitches behind other stitches when I'm done. I pull it through to the front, like the short bit, and then I stitch over them with others. So they still get like stuck between other stitches. I just do it the opposite way, where I pull it through first and then I stitch over it rather than sticking the needle under previous stitches. Let's see. The last two questions are non-stitchy related. What was the best thing that happened to you this year? Probably that I discovered Flosstube and that I've started making my own videos, because it's been really fun. I really like doing this. What are your resolutions for next year? Oh, like non-stitchy resolutions. Probably to, this is gonna sound really funny. I want to keep up on the dishwashing in my house. I know that seems silly, but I've started it in December actually of 2017. I've been just trying to make sure the dishes don't pile up for more than like a day. So, because sometimes the house explodes and things are everywhere and everything is just cluttered and disgusting, and drives me crazy. So I started doing the whole dishes every day thing, and it's actually been really cool because I have to do it more, but it's not as long of a time that I have to stand there. I don't have a dishwasher. I have a really old house and a really tiny kitchen, so I am the dishwasher. So that's my main resolution. And I also, it probably doesn't look like it, but I want to lose a few pounds because after the holidays and everything in the past couple years, I haven't really been watching it, and I don't want to get to the point where I have to like, well, I don't want to get to the point where it's visible that my poundage has exceeded its, what it should be or whatever. So just to keep that going, and I've lost a few pounds already, but I just want to keep that, yeah, just like get to my goal weight and then just maintain that rather than, letting myself just do stupid things and then regret it and wait for it to get really bad and then try to lose it, and no, 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 no. So, alright, that's the end of the video. So, I'm gonna go now and get some stitching done. I might be lazy and not edit this today. My husband has a work party tonight, so I'm probably not going to be able to stitch as much as I would have if he wasn't going to a work party with me. So, or me going to a work party with him, You know what I mean. So I think I'll just stitch, and I'll probably edit this tomorrow and maybe get it up by Saturday. So yeah, I'll talk to you guys on the next video. Bye.